Brian Geddes here from the IGN Xbox team with a video review of Grid. Grid is a new racing game developed by Codemasters for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC. Its roots are in the Toka and Pro Race Driver series, but it's been built by the team behind 2007's rally racer Dirt, which means slick menus, top-notch presentation, and full damage modeling. Grid is essentially the answer to the question, what if we took the Dirt engine, souped it up, and applied it to on-road racing? The result is an intense, heavily racing-focused experience that grabs you from the starting line and refuses to let go. You start out as a freelance racer, driving for cash to gather enough funds to start your own racing team, which you'll be able to personalize and brand as you see fit. Once you're legit, you'll start earning reputation and climbing the ranks. All three regions, the US, Europe, and Japan, are open to you from the beginning, and racing fans will find a bit of everything to get going. There's drift, touge, muscle, tuner, open wheel, touring, endurance, and more to master. And each time you compete, you'll build your rep, earning more the better you do. As you progress, you'll earn name brand sponsorships that pay out based on performance, unlock higher levels of competition, and gain the ability to hire a teammate. Each driver in Grid has a specialty, and you can hire and fire yours based on your immediate needs. It'll cost you, but if you find the right person, they'll quickly pay off by earning your team extra cash and rep with team wins. Grid is a great looking game. The city tracks shimmer at night, the Japanese mountain roads roll with fog, and the cars are modeled beautifully. All the more fun to smash them to tiny bits. There's nothing quite like smashing $1 million race car into a concrete barrier, then rewinding it to watch over and over again. Grid lets you do just that, and it never gets old. What does get a bit old is your team's pre-recorded dialogue, which is well done, but becomes a bit repetitive after a while. Your spotter only has a few ways to explain that a driver has spun out ahead of you, for example, and the same 4 lines begin to grate on your nerves a little bit after the 20th race or so. Add the lack of variety to the inconsistency of his calls, and you'll come to dislike your guardian angel a little bit more than you value his watchful eye. My other issue with Grid is its relatively low car count. There are 45 cars in the game, which at times feels a bit thin. It's true that unlike games like Forza Motorsport 2 and the Gran Turismo series, Grid is less about the cars than it is about the track time, but some races only give you one car choice, which feels a bit limited. Granted, these cars are some of the best in the world, but hey, more is always better, right? Unlike some of its competitors, Grid doesn't let you tinker under the hood. If you don't like how that Lambo corners, there are very few things you can do about it. To me, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Personally, I'm not one of those people who enjoys poking around in menus, sliding camber adjusters, and tweaking my drive shaft. Luckily, I didn't find much of a need to. For the most part, I found that the cars in Grid handle extremely well, despite a somewhat steep but relatively short learning curve. Overall, Grid is a great title that deserves a serious look if you're at all a fan of racing games. It looks pretty, it runs smoothly, and it has managed to capture the soul of the racing experience. So that was a look at Grid, Codemasters' newest racing game. If you're a fan of racing games at all, Hillary Goldstein loves you, and make sure and check it out.